This was the story we tell about America. We tell this story about the Pilgrims and about freedom of religion. But sometimes we forget that freedom of religion means for all people, not just the predominant majority.
In Jaylani Hussein's story of America, the fight for freedom of religion can be found in the mosques of Minneapolis. Hussein runs the Minnesota chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations. He sits in a mosque that is making history.
I almost feel like we were hiding our faith
From its roof.
This is your first time on the roof?
First time in being in the roof.
Abdullahi Newell was 13 when he says he first led the call to prayer at Dar al-Hijra near downtown Minneapolis. Back then, there weren't speakers.
There's speakers over here, this side, and there's speakers over that side.
In Muslim countries, the call to prayer, or adhan, projects through communities, saying 5 times a day, it's time to pray. In America, that call typically isn't allowed beyond the mosque.
We forget when we talk about the call to prayer that in this country, church bells have been ringing all over parts of America for a very long time. It's almost part of the existence of our noise world. But it is a practice of faith. People hear the call to prayer, they immediately react. Why are they doing that?
But in 2020, when COVID-19 kept everyone in their houses and away from houses of worship, Hussein and others pushed the city to allow the call to prayer outside during the month of Ramadan. 2 years later, they pushed to make it permanent. In 2022, the Minneapolis City Council approved the adhan between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. This year, they became the first major American city to allow the call at all times and with amplification.
People close here, they all come to hear the prayer. That wasn't the case before.
For Newell,
this mosque is a mosque that's special.
For Hussein, it's a victory, but not in a vacuum. And
we've had 9 attacks against mosques in 2022. So far now in mid-May, we have 5 attacks against mosques in 2023.
The day we speak is 3 days after the latest. A person in a hoodie and mask throwing a large rock at a mosque in St. Paul.
It shows that freedom of religion is something that we have as a right, but it's something that we have to still fight for.
But 5 times a day, it's a fight they've won. From the prayer in the room to the speakers on the roof.
Just to hear the call to prayer is an indication and a reminder to fulfill the promise that you made to God to be a great human being. I'm proud of the fact that our city is going to set the example for other cities across this country.
In Minneapolis, I'm Matt Pearl.